Oh my gosh, this was terrible. I feel bad for him. Look, he's got a lot of things going on, legal battles, custody battles for his kids now, but it doesn't justify acting like Trump on Twitter, stonewalling the SEC or the European Union, and quite frankly, turning into a little baby on the earnings call. I mean, he was almost in tears. It showed a complete lack of leadership. Tesla's a leadership-less company right now, and it's terrible. That's why their CFO just left, I believe, as well. And this is a slap in the face to everyone. It's not just the shareholders, but it's a slap in the face to the other managers who are still there and the over 100,000 employees at Tesla. For a leader to cry about the economy rather than funneling that and coming up with a plan is pathetic. We got a leaderless Elon Musk who was afraid to be on an earnings call, who sounded beat down and like somebody who's basically leading Tesla into a directionless path forward. It's disgusting.
In life, there are seasons for celebration and seasons of mourning, seasons to invest and seasons to save, times to take risks and times to be cautious. Any rational human would agree this should be our expectation for life. The very same principles apply to the business world. Satisfaction and contentment for many in life hinge on expectations. A prevalent response to Tesla's Q3 financial results can be summarized in a few words: disappointing, depressing, weak, terrible. These all imply a standard that was not met. Expectations were too high. If that's the case, the problem actually lies with the investor, not the company. Before anyone gets perturbed with that statement, hear me out. It would be great if Elon or anyone gave clear guidance on these calls for margin expectations and the things Wall Street wants to know, like how Tesla plans to grow volumes in 2024. What's Tesla's best guess on the next-gen platform rollout when it comes to timing? Although I will say with Cybertruck and FSD, I don't think Elon has much clout when it comes to timelines anyway. I agree with you, Elon was underwhelming on the call and he seemed a bit distracted. Maybe he was having a bad day or he was tired and he repeated the same things we've heard over and over and over for years. Whether it's the optimist talk about what is labor or the robotaxi utilization metrics, most of us have heard the story numerous times. In his defense, some folks on Wall Street still don't get it, but it would be nice for him to teach us something new about the company on these calls. So I'm sympathetic to those who are frustrated, genuinely. But again, we just should not be expecting this from Tesla or Elon. They've never been that company, and Elon is probably never going to be that guy. He's going to repeat the same few things and maybe even do it just to stick it to Wall Street in his own head. But we have to ask from first principles, what is a good quarter for Tesla? The mission is to advance the world to sustainable energy. And no matter what the financials look like, just take a look around the world. Leaders, companies, countries, most of them announcing and executing huge plans to switch to EVs and clean energy. So based on the mission progress, Tesla is still killing it. It's just the numbers that actually drive that will sometimes be up and sometimes be down. It may be hard to hear for now, but I do think a quarter like this is a great reminder and a wake-up call for some folks, and it finally happened. Not one thing has changed from a long-term perspective, but for the next year or so, it could be a season of slower growth, lower margins, more spending, and delayed results. But to forget that the time will be coming when interest rates come down, and that paired with Tesla continuing to invest aggressively, even if it's not directly in production or factories, is going to set up for a very exciting time yet again. We just have to be patient, as I always say. This dose of reality seems to be exactly what the doctor ordered for some. The projects Tesla is investing in, namely AI compute for FSD and Optimus, which doubled quarter over quarter by the way, and projects like Cybertruck are going to take more than 1 year to really drive Tesla stock where we all want it to go. The same goes for 4680s. They're making good progress with production up 40% quarter over quarter, scrap down 40% quarter over quarter, but we need another few years for this to scale to a point where it's no longer a drag on cost of goods sold. There are also small challenges along the way that Tesla will have to overcome. Like we just heard, Hugh Duong, the lead inventor of Tesla's DBE process, just left Tesla for a startup that's pursuing the same advance using a different approach. AM Battery is saying its dry strategy is simpler and less costly than Tesla's, and Duong, the inventor of Tesla's DBE, calls AM's approach DBE 2.0. Duong was the lead author of the original 2018 paper and on patents for DBE, which he helped to develop at Maxwell Technologies. I also understand why people think the financial results are weak. Regulatory credits made up 31.4% of Tesla's operating income this quarter. The previous high over the past 2 years was 19.6% in quarter one of this year. Historically for Tesla, it's been between 10 and 15%. I know why people like to remove regulatory credits to try to see Tesla's fundamental business model, but let's not forget, this is real money Tesla really earns for doing real work because these are the real rules of the game right now. Need I remind folks to take a look around the industry at the other OEMs to see that Tesla may be getting these credits for much longer than people originally thought. Legacy OEMs are in disarray, trying to sell EVs at any type of scale. So let's not punish Tesla too much here. They took the risk over the years to be the first mover. They've earned those credits, and it's okay to check the business without them, but they're here and this is not some sort of monopoly money. I think this is important because this is money that Tesla is using to invest in the future of the business, the things that we're waiting for the next exciting parabolic move up. In the midst of all the negativity, Elon did say something on the call that I think is worth repeating right now.
Tesla se convertirá en la empresa más valiosa del mundo. Yes, I have been brushing up on my Spanish with Babbel, one of the top language learning apps in the world.
Babbel también es el patrocinador de este video. So why Babbel? One day, I'd love to take Ashley to visit Giga Mexico and then maybe head to the Grand Vilas Riviera Maya. The Babbel UI is incredible and the lessons are intuitive. It works seamlessly across all of my devices so I can pick up where I leave off anywhere, anytime. You can choose to learn in as little as 5 minutes a day, so keep your brain sharp, be multifaceted, impress and surprise your spouse. And the podcasts are an awesome change of pace to help you learn while you cook, clean, work out, whatever it is you do. So if you're like me and you love to learn, you will love this app. Just go try it and thank me later. You really have nothing to lose. They also offer 2 free live classes, a 20-day money-back guarantee, and lessons designed by actual language teachers that have proven to help people start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. I was able to get you guys 60% off your Babbel subscription, and as always, the link will be in the description below. Gracias a Babbel por patrocinar este video. Before I touch on spending, let me tie the bow on expectations. It's abundantly clear to me now that way too many people are trapped in expecting Tesla to do 2020 or 2021 numbers into perpetuity. There has not been a proper resetting of expectations among investors as we've moved from 0 interest rates and quantitative easing to 5% interest rates and a policy closer to quantitative tightening. We also have 2 wars taking place and a reshoring deglobalization trend that's adding to supply chain challenges. And to anyone complaining of being disappointed that Tesla is letting off the accelerator a bit in terms of production and factory expansion, it kind of makes me chuckle. I mean, do we really want Tesla to fly headfirst into an uncertain environment? Is it not the prudent thing for Tesla to do to laser focus on driving down cost of goods sold at the current factories as they assess what the macro space will entail, to actually see how bad the situation becomes in the credit markets and for the average consumer? This also allows Tesla time to work on improvements now that can be implemented when rates begin to come down. So sure, it's not exciting to hear, but personally, I'm good with it. The worst thing that could happen would be Tesla racing ahead with Giga Mexico, expanding Giga Shanghai, only to be met with excess capacity and consumers who aren't able to buy the products. We can't expect every quarter to be exciting and filled with financial results that don't even make sense, they're so good. We enjoyed those times in 2020 and 2021 and they'll come around again. but we need to learn to take the mundane, I hesitate to say bad, with the good. I hesitate because we can't forget this is all relative. Compare what Tesla is doing to all of the other automakers not named BYD. It's a you-know-what show full of massive losses, layoffs, reducing EV plans, falling ICE sales, UAW turmoil, slowing EV demand, dealer network frustration, the list goes on. Meanwhile, Tesla is getting blasted because what? They generated $800 million in free cash flow while investing a historic record in CapEx this quarter, 20% higher than it's ever been, by the way, while also investing a record amount in R&D. They now have $26 billion in cash and effectively zero debt, meaning they could earn $1.3 billion in interest alone at 5% every year for doing nothing. That would be 70% of the GAAP net income Tesla generated in quarter 3. They won't invest all of their cash, of course, but it highlights the war chest that Tesla has for these tough times. Speaking of, I know folks are sick of hearing the tough time macro talk, so rather than harping on that, just look at the data. Tesla only produced 430.5 thousand vehicles in quarter 3. This was lower than quarter 2, quarter 1, and even lower than quarter 4 of last year. The fact that anyone had somewhat high expectations for this quarter is just baffling to me. The factory shutdowns for upgrades and refresh vehicles should significantly have adjusted our expectations down. Factory idle costs, less income, lower factory utilization. It's been almost 1 year since Tesla produced so few vehicles in a quarter. If you pair that with Tesla setting new records for CapEx and R&D spending, and what did everybody think was going to happen to operating margins? Briefly, if you saw my post on X yesterday about average selling price and cost of goods sold, I accidentally used the ASP formula for cost of goods sold on my spreadsheet, trying to go too quickly. Very sorry about that if you saw it. Here's the accurate year-to-date data for ASP and COGS. Tesla's ASP is down 16.7% year over year, and cost of goods sold is down 4.8% year over year. So still making good progress driving down COGS, but not to the level my mistake had indicated. One thing that may drive COGS up a bit but could be worth it, the fact that Tesla's parts catalog may have just told us they're working on a performance, if not even a Plaid Model 3. This guarantees nothing, but it's certainly promising. I do want to say this. Tesla may be learning to underpromise and overperform. On a past call, Elon and co talked about Megapack margins approaching 25%. Well, they're most likely already higher than that because the overall Tesla energy margin was 24.4% for the quarter, and that is most likely being dragged down by solar underperforming. The Megapack factory is still only around 60% of capacity, meaning higher margins may still be in store. The financial results of this business line are going to be highly volatile quarter over quarter, but if you extrapolate quarter 3 energy profit, which I'm okay doing because energy did not have the same one-offs as the auto side this quarter, that's $1.5 billion in annual profit just from Tesla Energy. A quick shout out to James Cat, by the way. Over the last 4 quarters, he's been the most accurate retail analyst among those listed. Only 12 cents over the past year combined. So James, if you see this, nice work, my friend. Keep it up. And I think you knew I was going to come back to this. Meet Kevin. Him saying Tesla is now leaderless and that Elon is afraid, this has to be one of the more ridiculous knee-jerk reactions I've ever heard from a competent thinker. Meet Kevin is actually the one sounding like a baby here, complaining about how Elon chooses to lead. Again, Elon is who he is. He's not conventional, he's just different. He's been the same person for as long as most of us can remember, so at this point we should not be expecting anything different from him. But look at what he's done for Tesla the past decade. Now we have one tough quarter given the challenges, and now Tesla is leaderless and Elon is scared. I mean, give me a break. Talk about the what have you done for me lately sickness that has swept our culture. Is Elon not allowed to have a bad day or a day when he's tired or disinterested? He's human, folks. Maybe at that hour, Elon was just more focused on urging caution than artificially pumping people up, and I'm okay with that. These statements from Kevin are also just disrespectful to the other incredible leaders at Tesla. Did Kevin already forget about Investor Day, where we got to hear from the deep bench at Tesla? There is absurd talent leading teams around the world at Tesla, people whose names we will never even know. And no, Elon is not perfect. He's far from it. He could do things better, absolutely. But Tesla's balance sheet is impeccable. They're prepared for anything. They're the closest company to solving for true FSD, and it's not even close. They have a working robot making impressive progress that no other car company is even considering doing as far as we know. Tesla is about to own the title of the best-selling car in the world. That's an EV that they're selling profitably, I might add. They're also focused on the right things, scaling AI compute and driving costs down of their current models while working on the next-gen platform. The way I see it, Kevin's comments are the disgusting ones as someone who has undoubtedly made millions from Tesla stock and from talking about Tesla, a company that would not exist in its current form had it not been for Elon's leadership. So to watch Elon lead multiple companies for decades to unbelievable success, and then to have people like Kevin and thousands of other retail fans start blasting Elon because he had a bad day, or blasting Tesla because it had a tough quarter, it's just ridiculous and short-sighted. Don't get me wrong, you can critique and criticize and be upset if you want, but let's not lose sight of what Tesla has done. Again, guys, a season for everything. I'll leave you with this. The year is 2026. Interest rates are not as restrictive. Cybertruck is producing at scale, bringing in thousands of new families to the Tesla ecosystem. The Tesla Semi is in production at the new Semi facility in Nevada. 4680s have driven down the cost per vehicle by thousands of dollars with production at scale. Tesla's Lathrop facility is at scale and generating $1 billion in profits annually, with 2 other factories following suit globally. The next-gen platform is being launched and robotaxis are deployed in certain geographies. Optimus is working in all of Tesla's factories doing real work. Tesla's supercharger network sees a major spike in utilization, with other OEMs having access, and many of those customers choose to look into Tesla, realizing how great this supercharger network is. The Model Y remains the best-selling car in the world, and Powerwall 4 is powering hundreds of VPPs across the globe. Ford and GM have announced they're going to license FSD from Tesla, and we get the announcement of Tesla Home HVAC right around the corner. Quarter 3 this year changes not one thing of this scenario. And let me tell you this, if you think all of the hate and the criticism, skepticism, and that Elon's not leading is not going to motivate Elon and the team, well, I have a bridge to sell you. They're on the internet, they use X, they listen, they read. So go on, keep saying how Tesla is doomed and they have no leader. Elon and co will continue to prove you wrong, as they've done for thousands of people over the past decade. I'll certainly be here to watch it every step of the way, no matter how boring or mundane people say it is. It's oftentimes your perspective that just needs to be adjusted. There's no growth of trees or grass without rain, without storms. The storms are what makes us as humans more resilient, and this stormy season will do the exact same thing for Tesla, just as it's already done numerous times in the past. Go ahead and be disappointed over a 50 basis point miss here or a regulatory credit line too high here if you want. I'd rather spend my days with proper expectations, enjoying the ride, the ups, the downs, the sideways, knowing that it's all part of the process and the story of Tesla changing the world and becoming the most valuable company in it. We're still on track, and only those who are patient and steadfast will actually reap the benefits exactly how it should be.